A lot of people seem to have a problem with the violence in The Last of Us 2. That is not my problem. First things first, let's start off with the positives. The first half of this game is by far the best. There's more than enough Uncharted-esque chase scenes and big explosions and set pieces to get your money's worth here. Almost too much of that, to be honest. There were a lot of times where I felt overwhelmed with how much was going on. Another thing that does feel overwhelming is the sense of fear this game is able to create. Sound design is very well done. Zombies will be screaming at you, and while you're going through these decrepit buildings, you just hear this shrieking in your ears, and your first reaction is you want to get out of here. Like, it's not a happy, friendly game where you want to sit and enjoy the surroundings. It really does feel like a nightmare as you're going through this game, and I think for a lot of people that's something they actually want to experience. I mean, if you do, this is certainly going to achieve that. We start off about 4 years after the first game, and if you don't know what happened during the first game, especially the ending of the first game, the game will explain that to you almost as soon as you start it, which I think is very clever in how they deliver that for people that are unfamiliar with this series. Things don't really start to pick up until about an hour into the game, during which time we are playing primarily as Ellie as she tries to live a normal life in this town that Joel is also living in with his brother. You also get to play as a new character called Abby, who has her own set of agendas going on and various issues she is dealing with her group of survivors. At first I was very puzzled as to why I was playing as her, and I didn't really enjoy it. And that certainly didn't get any better, we'll just say that. Needless to say, some things happen, and then more things happen, and then Ellie is off on a quest for revenge. Accompanying her is her girlfriend Dina, and here is where a lot of the best moments for me came from. You're exploring houses, you're riding your horse, you're having, some kind of silly dialogue with Dina. The game definitely has a lot of times where it can just stop and smell the roses. There's some great sequences with the guitar where Ellie's kind of singing to Dina. I really enjoyed that. As we get closer to the objective, which is Seattle, things start to open up a little bit. Kind of a semi-open... No, this game isn't an open world at all, but there's some stuff in Seattle where you can explore at your leisure. You can go through little side areas and find things and progress to the objective, shall we say. The game places a high emphasis on stealth, introducing prone, so you can get down on your belly and kind of shamble along, and you can actually avoid fighting if you don't want to, unless there is an objective in the area that you need to access. You'll know whether that is the case pretty clearly. If you can't see anything that you can jump over to progress through the area and you need to pull a lever or something, then it usually means you have to kill the enemies, otherwise they will just swarm you and try to kill you. So yeah, the game is very brutal. The death animations are pretty brutal, same as the first game. The violence is, it's a violent game, and there are a lot of sequences where if you're squeamish, it's probably not going to be the game for you. However, I was expecting way worse, to be honest, because I went in reading about how violent it was and how atrocious it was, and I don't think it really is any worse than the original game, to be honest, but that can be up for debate, I guess. I would say the stealth is pretty good. It certainly gives you enough notice if there's an enemy in your general direction. It probably gives you too much notice, because I hear that sound, that kind of gong sound, which happens when an enemy is about to spot you or will spot you if you're there too much longer. I hear that sound all the time, even if they're just like glancing like sideways in my direction. So it's very kind of lenient in that way. You don't need shivs anymore to take down clickers, though bizarrely when you play as Abby you do need shivs, which again we'll get into the Abby stuff soon, but I don't understand that. The shooting itself I didn't love. It felt very much kind of Uncharted, a little floaty. I couldn't tell you how many times I really thought I got a headshot on someone or even landed a shot on someone, and it's like, nope, you didn't land it. It's like, really? I'm pretty sure I did. So yeah, the controls just kind of feel a little annoying to play when I'm shooting. Yeah, it just felt a little bit frustrating. So around halfway through the game, this game's around 20 hours or so. Around halfway through, you end up playing almost entirely as Abby, and this is where I kind of just lost my mind of not how violent it was. Again, it's not the violence that is the problem. It's, for me, I just don't understand why I'm playing as Abby. Abby is the villain in this game, basically. She's pretty mean. She's having an affair with someone. She's not a very nice person. The game goes to painful lengths to try to show that she's just a human and she was a victim of things in the first game, at the end of the first game. And that's all well and good, but I didn't ever feel any sort of fondness or compassion or anything for this character, and you're playing so much of the game as her, right? And this is the more annoying thing. The game, at that halfway point when you stop playing as Ellie, the game ends on a cliffhanger, and it stops right where you want to know what's going to happen, and then you play as Abby for like over 5 hours. And it's not, and this is even worse, right? It's not just that you're playing as this new character, okay, deal with it. It's that it's flashbacks. And my God, I do not like flashbacks in games, in media. I don't like them. Why? Because they take you out of the present situation and force you to relive something. And that to me creates a distance in the story of trying to, now I've got to try and invest myself in a previous thing or a previous set of characters or some kind of thing that's already happened, right? So we flash back to Abby, how she kind of got her crew together, how she did so-and-so, how, her band of survivors deals with things, how she has a relationship with her boyfriend. And it's like, I don't care. I don't care about this fucking character. And again, the combat is fine, the stealth is like fine. You mainly going through clearing out kind of zombies or fighting these this other cult of people. They're really annoying. They use like arrows and they do this annoying whistling all the time. I just call them the whistlers because they're really annoying. But the crux of this game is like trying to make you care about Abby. That's what it's like trying to make me feel. And every moment of playing as Abby, I just wanted her to die. I just was like, can she please die? And it happened so much so that I actually just intentionally like jumped off buildings and tried to make her get eaten by zombies, and I just wanted to see her like have a death animations, because to me it was funny, and it was like I'd rather see that than actually continue as this character. And it gets so bad that there's a certain point where you're actually, how do I say it without spoiling, you're playing as Abby when you really want to be playing as the character you're trying to kill. And it's infuriating because I am on the other character's side, right? And I'm being told to like strangle this character and kill her and punch her. And I'm like, I mean, you talk about player agency. This is like player anti-agency. It's like, I don't want to do what the game is telling me to do, but I have to. I thought that was really just lame. And a lot of, honestly, you cut out all of the Abby stuff and this game would be better off. It would be better off in every single way. The Abby stuff kills this game for me. I was so not into it. And then at the end of the game, you do play as Ellie again right at the end, but by that point I was so over it and so kind of disappointed that it didn't even matter. And honestly, even if you cut out the Abby stuff, it's hard for me to even go, would it be a better game? I mean, I think it would, but it's like, it's so tainted in my mind now that this game has all this crap with Abby in it, and I don't understand. What really puzzles me is that no other reviewers have talked about this. They've just talked about how amazing the game is and how violent it is and so on, but no one's addressing this huge issue in the game, that you're playing as this really unlikable, ugly character that I don't give a shit about. And you're expecting me to care about this character and really get invested in what's happening. And, speaking of flashbacks, as you're playing as Abby, there's actually a flashback of a flashback. And I mean, if that's not ridiculous, I don't know what is. I mean, you're going to double flashback me, dude? I don't think so. I'm fucking not doing this shit. If it wasn't for the review, I would not have finished this game, and I don't think I would have missed much, to be honest. But, for what it's worth, I did enjoy the first 7 hours of this. It's more Last of Us, so if you liked the original game, you'll probably like this. Your mileage may vary when you get to Abby. I certainly did not have fun with it, and there's a lot of resources you have to get. On the normal difficulty, resources are quite hard to come by, so you really have to scavenge and stuff. I'm trying to think of what else I can say. Nope, I think that's it. I think that it's just disappointing, how the game kind of splits itself. It's almost, as I was playing as Abby, I could almost see this as a prototype for a different game. It's like, is this just totally different game, totally different characters. Like, yeah, it's got the same combat, but it's like, this could be a different game. This could be like The Last of Us Lost Legacy. It could be like Abby's Lost Legacy or some shit. It's like, yeah, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I think the first game's way better. It's way more kind of concise and to the point, and you're not switching back and forth. I mean, there's even a few flashbacks with Joel and Ellie, and I didn't really like those either, just because of my issue with flashbacks, and I didn't find them that interesting. But so yeah, even those were not that interesting. And then you do Abby's stuff, and it's like, oh my god.